The guests are waiting for. I informed them of what has happened.
I am most grateful.
She's in her room with Miss Angeline. It may be better to speak with them privately.
Oui, merci. I shall come find you again. I'm afraid our conversation is of a more...
So the Major was murdered?
It appears so.
You can't think that I did it, though.
I will...
I was here in the salon, minding my own.
Minding your business from whom?
Comtesse, what's her name, and my brother. Apart from wanting to congratulate...
Comtesse de Vos.
If she had...
I think that is all for... Bonsoir, Monsieur Beckers.
Monsieur Poirot, or should it be...
Detective Poirot is...
Go right... I took great pleasure in seeing the Major's ego as well as his face take a bruising.
Well, you spoke with Mademoiselle Conrad.
And yourself? Yes.
We were the only two that you spoke with.
One of the servants brought me a drink and I was telling her about the benefits of joining a union. She didn't understand what it truly meant to be a part of something.
Monsieur.
Oh, yes, it was just the two of you.
And you are sure there was no...
I'm not sure...
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. Monsieur de Silva. Merci.
A detective comes to a party and a dead...
A man's death is not a matter...
Who said anything about a joke?
Then
Following... whatever that...
Is there anyone that can
Miss Conrad and Beckers were in there, arguing about...
You did not speak with them until dinner was served?
I had no...
Merci for your cooperation. Monsieur Demir, I am sorry yourself...
As am I, Detective. I hope we will be...
With your cooperation...
I was here in the salon. I thought I would have a moment of peace to calm myself. But the Comtesse and...
Did they inquire into the reasons behind...
I think they both saw it as some light entertainment, more than anything else.
The Comtesse does not strike me as one to enjoy violence.
And not so...
If you would be so kind as to stay here, Comtesse, I am sorry our next...
It is not the first time Felix has...
The current state of tonight's celebration.
Well, it's at the top of mine, Detective.
Perhaps then we should proceed with my...
It would be... I did? I thought by staying in one place...
And who else was present in here?
The handsome groom-to-be and his brother. Although, Zachariah, is it? Made a rather...
Did he say where he was going?
He barely said 2 words to either of us. I think...
Merci, Comtesse. Mademoiselle Conrad, I am sure...
I knew I had seen your face before. You were just an...
You have a très bon memory, mademoiselle.
You can't escape the past, especially when you...
That is very true, but one can learn from it.
What would you say to an
Please, mademoiselle. Catching the Major's kid. Now...
I arrived, unpacked my bags in my room, and made it downstairs just in time to see the Major take a right hook from Gideon.
And you were joined by...
And Ernesto, or Monsieur de Silver, as you say. But after he ignored my attempt at pleasantries, I left him to his book in the...
And your conversation with Monsieur Becker...
You are a persistent one, aren't you? Makes sense now I know who you really are.
You have been most helpful. the logic in this. I must act on thought and... Some would say a lucky guess. Things are beginning to become clear. Another success. I never doubt. This will not get me any closer to my goal. I must take a different approach if I am... What a revelation! Order and method. That is the... Things are beginning to become... I cannot see the logic in this. Is there something I am... I must take a different approach if I am... The pieces of the puzzle.
I'm an open book, Poirot. I told you already.
And you did not leave...
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I did...
You may keep your calls of nature to...
If...
I think that is all for now. Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Dem...
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major.
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was...
Whatever you required. I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals.
I hope for your sake that
What is it you think?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in...
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could.
Monsieur Demire invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers.
Magnifique. Another success. Some would say a lucky guess. I should not be surprised by my own
I'm an open book. Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him.
What is yours that he...
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teat?
Our?
My When you have not been on level playing fields for years,
I am afraid I do not quite...
ever playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old...
Perfectly. I think that is all for...
Whatever you require. I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him.
The man has recently been...
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
It's... Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and...
To discuss business at the cellar...
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down if he was in a more...
And what business was it that...
Which... Anger, yes, but that's all. I wouldn't...
You must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers.
And where does Monsieur Gideon...
His Last I saw, he was outside.
Oui, I spoke with him
He does...
Merci, Monsieur Beck...
More questions? Felix, I didn't know him that well. We spoke...
But you remained polite, as any gent...
Of course. What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman.
It sounds as though you hold her in...
And what... He had approached me about doing some business together.
And you both went ahead with...
Not so much a business venture. More secure...
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your part?
That is
And the reason for your support was...
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return,
I meant no offense. I'm only trying to Merci for your co-op.
No trouble at all. I knew of him more than actually knowing him myself. In the past, he made his feelings towards my brother
And that was not in a positive way.
I What do you mean?
I do not mean to pry, only I imagine the whole room was aware.
You must be mistaken. We aren't the closest. But what?
I would
We've lived very different lives. Our priorities are... I have lent my voice to some discussions. I have tried to facilitate meetings.
Does that positive support include sending letter?
Detective Poirot, I'm not sure what you
Monsieur, a letter has been found threatening the Major of what might happen if he does not act promptly, and now he has wound up dead.
You think my sending him a letter, warning him not to get involved, means
At this time, it is certain...
I have been funding the strikes, Detective. These men deserve fair treatment, and the Major didn't see that. All he can...
If you would be so kind as to stay here.
I am all yours, detective. Why would I actively choose?
You were quite adamant of your protection of Madame. If he was as awful as you portrayed...
He was quite aware of how I felt towards him, and then...
I must admit, I would not want to be on the receiving end of you.
Why? I imagine she would have shed a tear for him, but she should not waste any more.
You don't think she would? Or you don't want?
I have made it quite clear what I think of that man, alive or dead. I would not want... What of it?
Do you believe there was something more?
As I have said, detective.
I would not even consider your name and that word in the same sentence.
Because it is not gossip. He was a disgusting leech that was driven only by money and power.
I can assure you not all men are concerned.
That may be, but they are few and far between.
It is not the first time I have been...
Embrace the compliment, detective. You have set yourself apart from the horrid
And that is what the Major was doing? Using...
You are finally seeing the man he was.
Merci, Comtesse.
You came to the right place. I know that he was not the good and honest man.
In what?
If you spoke to him for longer than 5 minutes, you'd know. I've met people in dark alleys I trust before him.
And on the occasions when you did speak with him, what was discussed?
I'm sorry, Poirot. If you're looking for a deep-seated secret between me and him, you're going to be... That man has got some real anger issues. I get why he's frustrated. He's trying his best for the workers, but holding on to rage like... If you think you can use me as some sort of gossip machine, you were...
I can assure you it is not a case of gossiping.
So I would be helping you potentially solve a crime? You should have said that off the bat.
I see.
I don't know if you really would. She's got a mouth the size of Texas, except when it comes to truths about her. She wants everyone to think that she's the savior of these girls at the shelter. But there's a side to her, I don't...
And what side is that?
One that she is keeping tucked away under her very...
You have been most helpful.
Come, my little grey cells. Order and method. That is the... The pieces of the puzzle are... I should not be surprised by my own...
I am all yours, detective.
Countess, you gave me the impression the Major and the Madame were close. But there were times where he acted
I am sorry, detective, but I did not mean... Ever the charmer, detective. I would talk more on it, but I'm afraid Cassandra would think I... It would not be wise to try and come between two friends, detective. I think it is time we moved on from...
Of course. Countess,
I am sorry, detective. Ever the charmer. It is not often I am swayed so easily. From day one, I was wary of his intentions. And it was, if it is a tear she sheds,
I understand your feeling.
he was a bully. He took his shortcomings out on her. Perhaps now she will be able to see the man he truly was.
Merci, Countess.
More questions?
Mademoiselle Conrad was quick to talk of your hidden feelings towards her.
What has... Them...
Merci for your co...
I'm an open book. That doesn't surprise me.
I am asking now.
I should have expected.
I would find it very helpful.
He went to school, got an education, and was the apple of... If you want to know about Gideon's part in...
So, you are... Oui, monsieur.
It'd be best to just...
I think that is all for now.
No trouble at all. I believe there are more important matters at hand than...
The murderer is in this house, and by holding back information that may help mine... Monsieur Demir, if you continue to withhold information, I can only assume you are hiding some...
I have nothing to hide. If you must know, he does not see the importance of planning for the future. And as much as my parent.
He still
I assume so.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may...
Another success. This will not get me any closer to my... I must act on thought and Is there something I am not... Things are beginning to be... What a revelation!
My time with the guests is complete.
Do you know who killed?
I am afraid it is not as simple as that. There are many steps that lead to the truth. This will not get me any closer. I should not be surprised by my own... I cannot see the logic in this. Things are beginning to be... Is there something I... I must act on thought and fact.
Order and method. That. Some would say a lucky guess. Magnifique. What a revelation.
Entrez.
Detective, I'm sorry I did not join.
Please, mademoiselle. There is...
I was with Maman in her room. She would not allow anyone to see it, but...
Most understandable.
Do you have any suspicions as to who could...
I'm afraid my suspicions extended across all of the party. While it seems as though their alibis all corroborate one another's, the disdain and...
I know there was some bad blood between the Major and some of the guests, but not enough to kill him, sure.
The Countess? She is a formidable force. I would not want...
Don't be... I assume that's who you were talking about, Detective, after what happened between them.
That is a story I have yet to hear.
She must have told you about the piece she was writing on us, about Gideon's work.
Somehow, that was the only...
That's strange. I thought that is what she would have started the conversation with. Well, she had come to the house to...
Do you know what this conversation
I'm afraid not, but Felix was quite enraged. He picked up an envelope from the table.
And Mademoiselle Conrad?
She was equally heated in the moment. She had a few choice words for him that I... Better, thank you, Detective. She's resting in her room. It...
And you, Mademoiselle?
I'm not quite sure. It is a rather...
It is understandable. He has been a close friend.
And to me, Detective, we had grown close. After Father's passing, he was always there for me.
You must try and not think on it like...
It is easier said than done, Detective.
I have not...
I'm sorry, but I just can't imagine any of them committing such a heinous...
It can often be hard to look past one's past.
It's not that, Detective. It's just they have known each other for years. Why would any of them act...
I was under the impression the Major had merely a business...
That's true. But those invited know each other. Some of them for years. They may not seem like it, but some are... I should return to my room now, Detective.
Oui, mademoiselle. I am afraid tomorrow may bear a resemblance, but I will...
I am certainly glad you are here.
When and where a detective is required, that is where I shall be.
Come, my little grey cells. passe à la finale. Another success. Some would say a lucky guess. I would. What a revelation!